Hello, everyone. It is Bulldog, back with more CLG analysis. Week 2, Game 2, CLG versus Dignitas. Yesterday we had a really clean game. I'm pulling up the VOD again so I don't get to see like any pick ban, but at least it looks like I get to see pick order here, right? Yeah. So, wait, did we really first pick the or not first rotation the Aphelios? Weird. Or I don't know. I don't know pick order for sure. But in terms of comp, Dig's comp is so squishy. Holy cow. And we have the ability to split push super hard. Just like our comp yesterday. I mean, it's basically the same comp. We have Lulu instead of Nautilus. And Set instead of Trundle, and they're banning out the Trundle against us, so it's probably a good idea. So I do like our comp quite a bit, and I think we've got a good chance, especially they're so squishy. Like, it doesn't, their comp just, Dig's comp does not allow them to do a whole lot. And I accidentally hit an F key for Google Chrome. Okay, so let's get into the game here. Set can solo clear his first camp. I mean, his regen is just stupid.
But maybe they didn't. So this could also be the never did. Then this could be their first tier 0 weekend of the year,
They take those.
Certainly, right? Again, a very much better start regardless of how you get there. CLG will be looking to go undefeated for the year. You see great on that red. It's the same side jungle.
Well, we got
this time around, but I think this bottom lane
good matchups. In general, they should get the push on us in bot because they have 2 lane bullies. We have half of one. I set his single camp clear. A single monster camp clear is pretty good. Graves clears every camp pretty well, so Graves should outpace him by a little bit here. I don't know how the Aatrox Volibear matchup goes. I've never seen it before, but Ruin seems to have the push, getting knowledge of Acadian and tracking him. They did that really well yesterday against Closer, just tracking where he is. Bo Belter loses the Twisted Fate versus LeBlanc matchup hard early. LeBlanc is just a ridiculous champion. So, I mean, for the most part, CLG is going to probably sit back and scale and then win team fights. Dig is pretty reliant on getting early leads and just generating early advantages for themselves before the Aphelios gets 2 items, before the Twisted Fate really starts to scale up. And then the Set and team fights, once you get 6, is just ridiculous. And with the Lulu, Set Lulu is a great combo because it allows Set to run in and with the Lulu speed up and be the primary engage. So it's just well done. Like, that's good synergistic drafting. It also protects Stixay, so well done in general. Yeah. You don't really have knowledge of where Acadian is, it looks like, so it was good for Ruin to play that pretty safe and send Wiggly up that way to back that up. I mean, LeBlanc is really, really hard to
just structure
gank.
problem. But that one camp advantage isn't enough.
It's
Gibraltar does take some action.
it's not really fair.
Getting things pushed up. Again, if good as farming back and forth as TF.
There's a reason why she's pretty high priority and very often banned in second rotation.
Nicely able to switch over to Ghost, but the TP is permanent in air quotes summoner and is going to head back and maybe use it back to lane now, but doesn't need to as we do see the
But Pobelter is ahead in CS, it looks like. Or maybe about... Okay, no, like 1 or 2 behind.
farming and maybe wants to wait to 6 anyway to really get some
Yeah.
sort of gank going.
3 behind here to start at this point, which means he's ahead in gold. He's sitting pretty. We're even everywhere else except for jungle, which is to be expected. That Graves will just outpace Set, and in trades, in fights pre-6, he easily wins. I don't know how they go post-6,
Any org that knows, ancient plans like scale for late game certainly
but
will be a team like CLG.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if
Shoot down this control.
Dig is able to get pressure on Dragon first, but Pobelter knows generally where Acadian is. Oh yeah, hits him with the emote to say, hey, I know you're here. He has 6 now, so we can make plays around that. And it looks like Wiggly's posturing bottom to work on the drag. Acadian's more topside, so they're in a pretty good spot. Bot lane has pressure. If they can... Oh yeah, he's doing it, so... I don't even know if they have vision on Acadian, but definitely a good take by Wiggly here, because this is not a... That bot lane is not something we should have pressure on, neither is that mid lane, but we do. So that is extremely well done.
Part there is that they saw Graves down on the bottom side. They had his Raptors warded. They know that's down, so they know he had to be moving up towards the top side to continue farming those camps, and that's going to give CLG.
And they're doing a good job of tracking Acadian in general.
Feeling really, really good.
Like they've done that really well this weekend about tracking the opposing jungler, and just being able to create opportunities off of it.
Spotted by Sentinel, but now it's going to get spotted at the Raptor camp.
He doesn't get
Acadian just going to go
chased down.
to the leaf.
Like,
One small chicken.
really no harm in that.
Significant at all for the
I mean, gives up his positioning. That's about it.
shop already in. It's going to be more than happy to challenge there.
He'll still be a little bit behind, but he was able to secure Dragon for his team, which gives his team a nice advantage, especially with such high impact ultis as Set, Lulu, Twisted Fate, and Volibear. Aphelios, I don't think, has that high of impact ulti. He just has so much in his kit that it's super high impact.
Then it's pretty hard for Volbear to actually make things happen, but I do think Volbear can have really, really good trades. That one obviously going very heavily in the way of Viper. I mean, he
Yeah,
multiple sweet spots, got the pullback on his chains, so really
But-
good outplaying in that trade. But Volbear
He's
is strong early.
generally keeping things
It's not just a
even
one-dimensional champion
early.
anymore. You
In
always
Volibear, I don't think will start to win it until he gets that Trinity Force.
It used to be very true with the previous iteration of it, but now that you have this huge jump on your ultimate, you have the additional attack range, you have the ability to turn off the towers, your Q speed,
And they're pretty equal about the impact they can make in a team fight
to deal with this champion.
between Aatrox and Volibear.
It's
Like
allowed
it,
to have a lot of
it's more about positioning than the champion's kit, and who can get themselves in a better position to get onto the carries and things like that. Volibear is generally tankier. Aatrox does a little more damage, provides a little more CC. So Pobelter is looking really good on this Twisted Fate. Like, he's even in farm, which is a great place to be. I mean, we're just pretty much even in gold this early on. Like, just in general, if we can keep things even with how much better our comp scales, we're gonna win the game. So things not happening right now, kind of the exact situation CLG wants to be in, and just kind of neutralizing, like, keeping objectives under control, not getting too far behind on them. Are they? Yeah. So they're doing that. the Rift Herald there, which they sent their support up to do that, which is fine. They invested the resources to get it. We should get a tower plate bot lane off of it, maybe, but yeah, because we didn't want to fight for that early, because if we just want to sit back and scale. In the inside CLG, they talked about knowing when to say no, and that's something that they've been working on, and it showed there where they just said no, we scale, and if we give up a Rift Herald, it's not that big a deal. We can push in bot, get at least a tower plate trade, and just scale up until team fighting, where we will be really relevant when we start to get 2 items on our carries. Like, that's when we will take over the game. And then they can 1-3-1 pretty well. That was a good trade by Ruin. And then gets hit by a couple of sweet spots. Gets chunked down. Yeah, Acadian's looking to drop the Rift Herald here. Got the Bard kind of hovering in the river, looking for a rotate. So Grave spotting to vision, so good job of tracking the jungler again. Should have seen LeBlanc going top, so here's where you can use that Twisted Fate teleport, and just, you have numbers, so you can pressure this Drake much better than they can. And Ruin and Viper both backing to get ready to TP in for any sort of dragon fight. CLG has vision control, so that's a very good use of Herald to try and get control over the mid lane, to be able to push in for this dragon. Good aggressive teleport by Ruin, and that's going to secure the dragon, and Viper's teleport is too late, so good proactive teleport by Ruin. Just, you can keep Stixay alive. It's going to be very good. And they spent a lot to lose dragon. Except, there should at least be a trade of 1 kill, right? Yeah. Volibear just being huge. Holy cow. Yeah. They spent way too much on that tower dive. The Pobelter ulti, the Twisted Fate ulti coming in big, Ruin positioning well in the flank, and just tearing that fight up. And that just went so well. But Lulu Aphelios, when Aphelios has red gun, not really something you want to be diving, just because their shield speed ups, a lot of healing. It's just not going to go terribly well for you, and Dignitas got to see the result of that there. And now, I mean, the Volibear has a lead, the Twisted Fate has a lead, the Set has a lead, so, and then CLG also is stacking the dragons, which is great. That was pretty bad by Stixay to get hit by that. After, like, they wouldn't have been able to pull this off if he hadn't gotten hit by the stun. But this still turned out pretty well for CLG, because he was able to get multiple. And if they didn't have the ignite, he would have healed up even more, and it would have been pretty gross. And yeah, Wiggly with a good flash in, getting the double stun. Ruin getting the ulti. Just really, really well played. And Pobelter managing to stay alive there. They're holy cow. So they're sending the entire death squad. It took quite a bit for them to bring down those two. You're pretty much going to trade bottom tower for top tower and those two kills, and you might lose mid tower out of it as well. But like, it was a good dive because you know a lot of the cooldowns are gone, especially the summoner spells from the earlier dive. But it doesn't warrant you all that much pressure. Ruin still gets the bottom tower. Pobelter does about half damage to mid tower. So it wasn't. CLG didn't give up that much for that. I mean, they traded about half the mid tower's health and some experience leads on their solo laner for their top lane tower and 2 kills. Which the kills did go on people Dignitas want them to go on. These the Callista and the Aatrox. But CLG's ahead in gold, which is not where Dignitas wants to be at all. They're snowballing the dragons, and it's just not going well for Dignitas overall because they needed to have a pretty substantial lead at this point to really start to win this game, but they just get outscaled really hard, and it's unless that they can really start making some high impact plays, it's not going to go well for them. Yeah, Pobelter's farm is disgusting. Holy cow. Yeah, he's getting pretty big. So I'm a big fan. Like, I wasn't sure about this Twisted Fate pick yesterday. I am a big fan now. A lot of playmaking ability. Pobelter farms so well on it, and just knows its limits so well. And it combos well with the Aphelios because Twisted Fate isn't necessarily like a hard carry, but he's very, very good at setting up a hard carry like an Aphelios to be able to get a lot of damage. And they have a lot of single target engage, so they can like burst down a LeBlanc or stun up an Aatrox. Not a whole lot you can really do. I didn't really see what was going on there. Pobelter? Okay, got the Zonias. I want to see what the setup was to that. So, they're just not really. So, they're like about a minute away here. And they still have their dual lane top lane, while Dignitas has rotated theirs down for pressure much earlier. It's not until 20-ish sec. It's not even like there's 5 seconds till Dragon, and Stixay's just showing up to the mid lane, so you're never gonna have pressure. So that was just bad lane assignments on that part, and you're just out of luck at that right now because you didn't rotate your dual lane over soon enough to be able to get the pressure necessary to get the vision control, and it's going to result in you losing a dragon. I don't really know what Pobelter was doing here with this. He is like pretty tanky just because he has Zonya's Rod. So but it's still pretty risky. They do trade a tower for it, which is pretty good. And taking mid tower opens up the map quite a bit, and you get some damage on tier 2. So this is kind of what they were doing yesterday. When they lost an objective, they were at least trading something for it. When they lost control of something, they were trading. We didn't really trade anything for the Rift Herald, but it didn't really cost us that much. So but that's well done to realize, okay, we're not going to get the dragon, so let's get priority on mid while they're doing that to be able to take down that tower.
After failing to find that fight, but once again, CLG pretty comfortable with how things are going. They are going to get the Rift Herald as well off the extended play. As Wiggly
And Pobelter is still just farming stupidly well
Something that's always kind of interesting
and just
to me to talk about
scaling.
is like
Stix A is starting to get close to that 2-item mark.
floor of the champion, what is like the worst you can give. And I think that both the item builds
Yeah, that wasn't going to turn into much. Wiggly's fairly tanky at this point. He had Pobelter coming around, so that's just a little
because Lulu here,
chunk damage.
GDR boots,
Uh,
Ardent Sensor, you press shield, you press ultimate. It doesn't even have
I
to
don't
be
think we lose this tower yet, but
you have an incredibly high like floor for the champion. It's always
Ruin has hit his item spikes. He wins the side lane pressure versus the Aatrox for sure. So Dignitas is doing a good job on lane assignments because the Volibear now wins that matchup, that top lane matchup, really hard. And he doesn't win the LeBlanc one nearly as hard. So they are trying to tower dive yet again, which I don't think there's much follow-up to that Pobelter. So, ooh, that was a good stun by Aframu. Oh, there is a follow-up in the freaking Volibear. Oh, but Aframu with the great peel, but did he trap Froggen in there? No. Okay. I mean, yeah, trying to collapse, make a play, using the Twisted Fate ulti. It was a good try. Didn't result in much, but you didn't really lose anything except for some of Pobelter's cooldowns. And you got 2 flashes out of it, so overall, 1 trade on your part. You get to defend that mid tower some more, and should be fine. I mean, CLG still just wants to scale up for a little bit more until they get 2 items on Stix A, and then that's when they really want to start fighting. It's a minute 20 till Dragon, so that's not going to be relevant for a little while here. Holy cow. Look, like, Pobelter chunked him. Holy cow. And that chunk might allow... well, nope, they gave up mid lane pressure, which is weird. I don't really know what Wiggly is almost timing out with this Rift Herald. I don't really know what they're going to do with it. They might drop it to try and get dragon pressure, but if you look at the river, the wards are almost all blue, so you need to get like vision control there, because this is something you can fight for at this point. You are stronger.
Purchase here from LeBlanc. I think this is how much gold he had. He could complete an item, and he's like, if we don't get Dragon, we're probably just screwed. So I'm gonna buy this, but
yeah,
no MR at all on the opposing team, so it's not a great buy.
No, it's a pretty bad buy. They know Froggen's there. And yep, got the Dragon, and you don't even need to fight this, but you do just kind of take him down. And it looks like Ruin's teleport was canceled, and they didn't kill anybody, but they got Dragon, and they get a charge on the mid tower here. Looks like they just get mid tower out of it, so well played there.
Really is feeling like Dignitas's time is running out in this game. It's now sole point for CLG. Dignitas very clearly can't take
I mean, Dignitas's time is out once Stixate gets Hurricane. That's been the breaking point. If they're not super far ahead by then, Gold's basically even at 25 minutes here. So it's not. Stixate should probably get a. He gets his Hurricane, so that should be game in favor of CLG, just because the team fight prowess, the team fighting in general is so heavily favored towards CLG, and their ability to make plays, their ability to pressure multiple lanes is way better. And they have the dragon stacking and just a more open map because they've taken 2 mid towers, and they're just going to be able to walk all over this at this point as long as they play. They don't have to rush anything because they can just play it slow. It doesn't. Well, this is kind of rushing it, so I'm not a big fan of that. But they do just. Pobelter, my dude, what are you doing? Well, that was atrocious. That was just atrocious. That might give up Baron. What the hell were we doing? Was that all over a frickin' red buff? Yeah, we were just walking in for a red buff, and we just get collapsed on. And, oh, that's Pobelter's teleport. I don't know why he ran into the bush there. He should have ran back with his team. They just pop Viper and kite back together. So that just wasn't done well. So they probably just lose this Baron at this point. And that's really, really unfortunate. That's just poorly played. Wow. Yeah, that was just. Yeah, I was just talking about how they didn't need to play it fast, and they started playing fast, loose, aggressive, and going into a place in the jungle that they had no place being. They didn't have vision of almost everyone on the map. Like, they didn't know where Aphromu was. They didn't know where Acadian or Viper. They only knew where Froggen was. Yes, that's what I said. He should just be pulling back, not running into the middle of 3 of them. I mean, he only knew there were 2 of them, but he still shouldn't have run into 2 of them. That was just bad. Like, as long as you don't hemorrhage too much from this Baron, you should be okay. But holy cow, that was bad. Like, you almost have to try and lose that one to lose it, and you get a tower out of it? Okay. Like, you should lose this bot tower for free. You probably lose that inhibitor. But Pobelter's just shredding the tier 2, which, if he's getting split push pressure against the team with Baron, which is insane. So it's right now they've just traded towers. Dragon is up in 40. I mean, this isn't likely one that CLG can really fight over, which is pretty annoying. And Johnson has all of the gold on their team, which is exactly where CLG doesn't want it to be. So that's pretty rough. Dig is looking to collapse, but Ruin and... Oh. Holy cow. Ruin just got absolutely bodied. Wow. That was just... That was just us being too aggressive again.
They could end.
We were posturing too far forward. They can't end.
Picked. This is getting really dicey, so CLG's got to be careful, and now it's no longer can you even get the Ocean Soul, it's like, can you hold your base?
They only have 20 seconds. They can't end. They can get an inhib. They can't end. Come on. There's 10 seconds left. Now CLG just kind of has to turtle, give up the Ocean Drake for now, and gotta regroup, reset the map, and get their heads out of their asses real quick.
Yeah, good job there by Dignitas. CLG plays it smart. They do back off. They just see the
They shouldn't have been pushed out that far in the first place without vision.
and actually potentially end. So they want to take the safe
Because the LeBlanc almost one-shots the Volibear. But they were too far forward without vision, and they just got caught for it. So they should have just been playing further back. They should have been fine to give up the Ocean there. Because they have the Baron. If they're spending time getting the Ocean Drake, then it's not time they're pushing for your inhibitor. If you would have just played it more safe and not tried to push up for the Ocean Soul, there you would have not lost an inhib.
Now working towards the death dance, he's going for triple lifesteal build. The only healing debuff is actually on the Volibear. So if he's not hitting the Volibear, and hitting that Bramble Vest, he's going to be healing for a ridiculous amount once he has that death dance plus Orc and Mercurial.
Yeah, certainly seems troublesome.
But I mean, there's 2 minutes till Baron. You can just kind of reset here and let things calm down. And holy cow, Johnson's an entire item ahead of Stix A right now. That's terrifying.
Playing a straight up 5v5 around one of these objectives, like the Dragon coming up in 3:30, or the next Baron that will be up in a minute 30, starts to become much more challenging, if not, outright something you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a position where they should be.
Yeah, you shouldn't be 4,000 gold behind, because you just you made a mistake, then you leaned into that mistake, and it snowballed, and then you proceeded to make another stupid mistake, and that snowballed even further. So it's CLG's own fault that they're in this position. And it feels like they don't have any control of the map anymore, which they don't.
One inhibitor tower down in mid as super minions are still striding towards CLG's Nexus. 40 seconds until that Baron spawns.
And holy cow, the level difference in jungle is huge.
That's the supers down. You still have really good wave clear with this IE Hurricane on Stix A, and he's going to basically get all that farm for free, right? It's just going to push right into the base. The mid lane is something that
And like that's just what you need to do. You need to get to the point where you just have you pretty much even out items as much as you can, and really just now this Baron is something you have to contest, because they can probably end the game on a Baron take. So
Basically down a full item to Johnson as Acrimony's Dead Man's Plate, starting to zoom him around this Baron area as they prepare to contest for the objective. CLG, they're all spotted in mid. They do need to be sticking together at a time like this.
And that's a good use of Pobelter's ulti to get vision, and great job to catch the LeBlanc. That should be a dead LeBlanc. Good work. Great use of that to teleport back to her spot. That's really, really good. Took out the only person that can really hurt the Volibear. And so it puts Dignitas in a really tough spot where they can't deal with Set or Volibear without. Great work, great engage. Viper is there, and that's the power of the Lulu, boys and girls. And Johnson shows up, cleans up 2, but it's still 1 for CLG.
try to end. Johnson decides to
they
not
can't
go Nexus, though. He's actually gonna
really
come out
end.
for Moon, see if they can catch even more. The Dignitas
Like,
bottom lane keeping them in there.
yeah, Johnson is hard carrying right now, but that was still an advantage to CLG.
And Viper got so much done on that flank. What a fight there for Dignitas to stay
I mean,
alive in this one.
they're talking like Dignitas won the fight. They didn't. It was a 3-for-2 in favor of CLG.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 death stances, almost a third now, and Johnson has 3 forms of that healing reduction. Yes, now
So,
the full Thormail.
now this is unfortunate that CLG loses the dragon off of it.
Healing debuff applied to him.
So now it's going to be a heavily contested soul.
Like that to kind of guarantee that application. So it is target dependent. But now we have Dignitas at soul point themselves. CLG have been unable to actually, finish out that soul after the early dragon snowball. They just haven't been able to get back to it and actually complete that. So
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons why getting early control over dragon is so good, because if you lose control like this, yeah, and you, I mean, it's so difficult to kill Wiggly and Ruin. I mean, that's just LeBlanc being annoying, because LeBlanc is just a super annoying champion. Shouldn't hurt Ruin that bad anymore, because he has the death stance and extra magic resist. Yeah, wave control is out of our favor there. Pobelter has TP, so he can go bot and just even that out. Ruin has TP, so he can get back in if he needs to. He does have a good flank ward, a couple of them, in river and deep in the jungle, so a couple of good wards there to be able to flank in.
Corral them into a location where they could TP in there with home guards. It could be pretty devastating for Dignitas. And
LeBlanc is a fun and balanced champion, kids. Yeah, probably don't want to go forward that. Oh! Ruin with the great... Good flanking. Good use of TPs. Holy cow.
this one before, Froggen picked off, but can Dignitas hold on again in the 4v5? Ruin again is set up on
Dignitas shouldn't be able to hold on.
potential flank here. Can this Dignitas bottom lane, who's so strong, make it happen once more?
Deja vu, CLG. I imagine they're looking to turn off this objective, but we'll see when they choose to go for it. They do go now. Wiggly in, tries to get the dunk, finds Johnson, face break as well. Haymaker is buying all the time they need, but the QSS out as Ruin looks to chase down the carry, but can't quite finish it off.
And Stixay finishes off Afro, and we win. We get a free pick there, and just take it. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and Froggen is going to respawn here soon. They actually
Yep,
were able to get
we're not pushing anything too hard.
caught out. That is
Oh, oh, great job of catching out Viper. That's big. Now that's a free Baron,
CLG.
because they don't have their only source of frontline anymore. And like the Froggen would have to poke out here. Ruin can sit back and defend just fine. We take the Baron pretty fast, so we will be fine. And the Baron power play thing showed up a little early, but this kind of resets things, and resets things very heavily in CLG's favor, because Styx is very strong now, almost even with Johnson, and just because of the nature of his carry, or his champion, pretty much just even. Viper got caught out. Pobelter's making great plays with the Twisted Fate, and managing to catch out LeBlanc and Aatrox and all sorts of things with that. So, Stixay is so strong. And he has a Lulu to back him up. Like, Twisted Fate scaling is insane. The Volibear has yet to die. It's level 17. Just a tanky freak, and we should just be able to posture easily for this dragon. We're setting up vision very well, getting pressure in both mid and bot, exactly how it should be done. Textbook Dragon take here.
Expensive build, but they are the same level. It's no longer that 2-level advantage, and as long as Aphelios has somewhat comparable itemization, the Lulu makes you so much stronger.
The Lulu's just stupid.
Kind of have well and truly reached that late
And
game phase.
the power of the Lulu turned one of the fights earlier. Are they just rushing the inhib?
They don't have to come. They can just run down mid lane if they want, but that would potentially open themselves up to just getting corralled and getting killed off.
Yeah, look what Ruin is. He's all the way down to the enemy red buff. Tempered Fate. Is Wiggly going to charge? He gets a good face breaker there, but Smoothie getting chunked a little bit. There's the ulti out from Aphelios Infernum. It's going to
And, I mean, Stixay's just so strong at this point. And, yeah, that was... Yeah, you gotta commit to that if you're gonna do it. Dignitas, you keep like Ruin back to protect the... You keep one or two back to protect the inhib. And then you go take the dragon. Then you go take the mid lane and you win the game. Or you might just... mid lane and then dragon is probably better here. And yeah, really tried to cut the wave. And yeah, that's pretty much game. But Stixay understanding his power, posturing very aggressively with it. Wiggly with some great engages, just playing extremely well this game. And the death timers are super long. I don't know if they win it right here, but they do take towers pretty darn fast. So yeah, they just win it here. So not the cleanest game. Basically, it was pretty clean. Kept things pretty even until that weird red buff invade play. And then playing too aggressively in the mid lane and getting caught out. And then they realized they were able to mentally reset and say, hey, we're playing too aggressive. We're playing too forward. We're trying to take things that we can't. So let's just wait it out. And they played a much more patient game after that. And they allowed the natural scaling of their comp, took advantage of their TP plays extremely well, communicated well, Wiggly engaged incredibly well, Smoothie peeled and just Lulu'd well. So there were slight hiccups, but good to see a 2-0 for the first time in a long time. Yesterday's game was much cleaner. But yeah, there are definitely some mid-game things that probably need cleaned up, just with vision and understanding when they can invade and play more aggressively. But they were able to come back from the mistakes, which is very good, and play a much calmer game to be able to close it out. Didn't force anything too hard, and just played well to finish it out. So things definitely are looking up. The communication is definitely more on point. Their laning is good. We have strong picks. Wiggly on more of a frontline engage is definitely where he needs to be. Ruin on that Volibear is terrifying. He plays it so well. And Stixay does well on the Aphelios. So right now we seem to have a good grasp of all the meta champs. And can just play well around everything. So, pretty good game. Definitely could have lost it, but we didn't mental boom, which is a great sign. And look forward to next week.